All right, quick disclaimer. This is just my opinion. All right, guys, welcome back to the Sleuth Intuition channel. I'm your host, Patrick Vallejos. And we are broadcasting to the world live from Phoenix, Arizona. Sorry, I had a bunch of different windows open, causing an echo. So if you guys are not familiar with the Kaylee Anthony case, we'll do a brief overview on her case. We'll go ahead and explain who Casey Anthony is, right? Everything that you're viewing is just my opinion. Everything is alleged. But I'll explain to you who she is, what she's known for, and why she's back in the news. And then we're going to go ahead and do a bit of a dive into the case of Kaylee Anthony. It's a very tragic story. Melissa, long time no see. James says Casey was such a cold-blooded killer. What she did to her dad was unforgivable. Yeah. I mean, she took no prisoners. I'm not saying she was lying, but what I do know is that her father took a lie detector test, and I have the video. I'll show it to you guys. A lot of what we're going to see is from the trial. I'm going to read basically the overview, the case facts. We're going to listen to all of the 911 calls. And then we'll jump right over to Casey Anthony's recent TikTok video. Hence the title of today's live stream, I'm Back. So apparently she's claiming to be a legal expert who was in the legal field. I don't think going to trial for the murder of your child constitutes being in the legal field there, buddy. We'll hear from Gypsy Rose Blanchard. She has something to say about Casey Anthony. I think the reason that Casey Anthony is coming back out into the public light is because of what Gypsy Rose has been doing. She's been kind of capitalizing on her own notoriety, and Casey, being who she is, can't resist, in my opinion. I guess then I should say she's allegedly. Well, here I have another disclaimer for that. Somewhere around here. Oh, here it is. Any views, thoughts, and opinions expressed by participants are solely that of the participant and do not reflect the views, opinions, policies, or position of the Sleuth Intuition channel. Viewer discretion is advised. Oh, super chat by Curious Contrarian. Yeah, says she's still searching for Zany the Nanny. We're going to touch on that because that's a very big part of all of this. Her lies, her lack of calling in for help, the fact that Kaylee was found basically less than a mile away from where Casey was living. And we're going to focus in on that as well. We're going to cover it all. We're going to cover why Casey is so hated. Because they pretty much proved that she killed her child, right? In my opinion. But I think it's because they were seeking the death penalty with the first-degree murder that the jury struggled. So that's why you have to be careful on how you pursue a capital case like that. You don't want to put too much unnecessary pressure on a jury, right? Especially when you have a case that's based on all speculation. It's obvious what happened, right? No mother is going to do what Casey did if they're innocent. Nobody in their right mind would do that. But I think it was specifically because they were seeking the death penalty that it made it very difficult for the jury to come to that guilty conclusion. It's all kind of like a balancing act, really. Thanks for that super chat, Curious Contrarian. I appreciate that. Brown Eyed Girl, good to see you. Says, my opinion is she got away with murder. Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. And honestly, it would take would be a new piece of information, maybe a new witness to come forward. Okay, so let's start with a quick case overview. Then we'll go into the 911 calls. After the 911 calls from her mother, we're going to go into her arrest. We'll look at some of the jailhouse calls made from Casey. We'll touch on Zany the Nanny, and then we'll go into the discovery of Kaylee's body nearby. And we'll go from there directly into the aftermath of the trial. Casey Anthony's parents taking a lie detector test. And from there, we'll go right into all of the new stuff that just hit this week. We'll hear from Casey Anthony herself. We'll take a look at one of her very strange social media posts. And we'll hear what Gypsy Rose had to say about her giving legal advice. And then I think we'll finish off with the crime scene. So a lot of today, we're going to be kind of sitting back, watching courtroom television and video from the trial. And we'll kind of stop and go and have a conversation here and there. But here is a little refresher for those of you who haven't touched on this case in quite some time. Jeez, right. Yeah, I appreciate that. I seriously doubt that, J. Ray. I don't think she's been working with anybody. Okay, Kaylee Marie Anthony. She was born August 9th, 2005. She died June 2008. She was an American toddler who lived in Orlando, Florida with her mother, Casey Marie Anthony, who was born March 19th, 1986. Just a few years younger than me. And her maternal grandparents, George and Cindy Anthony. On July 15th, 2008, Kaylee was reported missing in a 911 call made by Cindy. And we're going to hear these calls, who said she had not seen the child for 31 days. Now, what kind of mother doesn't report their own kid missing after 31 minutes, let alone 31 days? Sometimes 31 seconds is all it takes. According to what Cindy told police dispatchers, Casey had given varied explanation as to Kaylee's whereabouts before eventually saying she had not seen her daughter for weeks. Casey later called police and falsely told a dispatcher that Kaylee had been kidnapped by a nanny, Zany the Nanny. Casey was charged with first-degree murder on October of 2008 and pleaded not guilty. On December 11th, 2008, Kaylee's skeletal remains were found with a blanket inside a laundry bag in a wooded area near the Anthony family residence. Investigative reports and trial testimony varied between duct tape being found near the front and mouth of the skull. The medical examiner listed Kaylee's cause of death as homicide by undetermined means. The state of Florida sought the death penalty in its case against Casey, relying largely on circumstantial evidence. The prosecution alleged Casey wished to free herself from parental responsibilities and murdered her daughter by administering chloroform and applying duct tape to her nose and mouth. Casey's defense team, led by Jose Baez, chiefly focused on challenging the prosecution's evidence, calling much of it fantasy forensics, right? The magic bullet. The defense stated that Kaylee had drowned accidentally in the family swimming pool and that George had disposed of the body. On July 5th, 2011, a jury found Casey not guilty of first degree murder, aggravated child abuse, and aggravated manslaughter of a child, but guilty of 4 misdemeanor counts of providing false information to a law enforcement officer with credit for time served. Casey was released July 17th, 2011. Florida Appellate Court overturned 2 of the misdemeanor convictions on January 25th, 2013. The case attracted substantial attention from the public. Time magazine described it as the social media trial of the century. Television personality Nancy Grace, who referred to Casey as Tot Mom, God, I remember that, was notable for the attention and corresponding publicity she gave the case. Casey's acquittal on the murder charges was met with public outrage, with hundreds of thousands posting to social media accounts in response. Crazy. Okay, so let's take a look here at the first 911 call. This will kind of give you an idea of what was going on with the case, which pretty much shocked the world, especially the fact that she was not convicted. I was shocked. This is her mother, and we are going to hear the first 911 call. So her mother had been kind of harassing her, like, where's my granddaughter? Why aren't you telling me what's going on? And she just kept lying, like, hey, don't worry, everything's fine. Kaylee's fine. There's nothing to worry about. And then finally, she just got so angry and confrontational, she decided to call 911. She had no idea that Kaylee had been missing for 31 days.
Thank you. Hello.
Hi, I drove to the police department here on Pershing, but you guys are closed. I need to bring someone into the police department. Can you tell me where the closest one I can come into?
What are you trying to accomplish by bringing them to the station?
I have
Dan has
a 22-year-old
hybristophilia.
person that has grand theft sitting in my auto.
Yeah, she's disgusting.
So the 22-year-old person stole something?
Yes.
Is this a relative?
Yes.
Where did they steal it from?
My car and also money.
Okay, is this your son?
Daughter.
Okay, so your daughter stole money.
Can you guys
from
hear this?
Your car?
No, my car was stolen. We retrieved it today. We found out where it was at. I retrieved it. I've got that, and I've got affidavit for my banking account. I want to bring her in. I want to press charges.
Where did all of this happen?
Oh, it's been happening.
No, but I need to establish a jurisdiction is what I'm trying.
Oh, I live in Orlando.
Yeah, but what address did these thefts occur at?
Well, I guess my residence, I guess. 4937 Hope Spring Drive.
That's actually going to be in the jurisdiction of the sheriff's office, ma'am, not the Orlando Police Department.
All righty.
Let me transfer you over to the communications section for Orange County.
Okay. Now, is the Orlando Sheriff's Department the one on 436 is that open this afternoon, this evening?
The substation you're at on Pershing, if it's Orlando Police, we're open primarily during the day.
Uh-huh.
But that's not the sheriff. That's the city police, which does not have jurisdiction for your
I know there's a sheriff's department on 436.
Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to transfer you to the sheriff's communications section, and you can determine that. Hold on.
Okay. Because my next thing will be on the child thing, and we'll have a court order together. If that's what you want to play, we'll do it. And you'll never. Well, then you have one more day. No, I'm not giving you another day. I've given you a month. Orange County Sheriff.
Mrs. Anthony,
I agree with that, J.
you
Ray.
stay there at that
Maybe it should have been second-degree murder. Yep, I agree with that.
location
I agree
on
with that.
Pershing where you made the call?
No, I did not.
All right. Where did you go from there?
They told me either to go home or to drive to the side of the road and recall. So I figured I'm not going to do this at the side of the road. I drove home.
At any point, once you had your daughter Casey in the car, did you call your husband George?
No,
Did you call your son Lee?
no.
From that location on Pershing, you went back to your residence
Yes, ma'am.
directly?
Yes,
How long did it take you to get there?
just a few minutes. It's only like a mile and a half, 2 miles away at the most.
Once you arrived in your neighborhood, could you tell whether or not another member of your family had arrived at the house?
Just as I was approaching our subdivision, I received a phone call from my son, and Lee stated that his dad had told him that he needed to come home, and he informed me that he was at the house waiting for me, that something was going on. And I told him I'll be there in just a second because we're turning into the development now. I'll see him in a couple minutes, a couple seconds.
All right. And is that what you saw upon your arrival, your son Lee waiting at the house?
Yes, the garage door was open and Lee was standing in the driveway.
All right.
All right, let's go into the second 911 call.
Into evidence, and there is a stipulation.
What says the defense, noting previous objections?
Subject to all previous motions and objections, Judge.
Okay, it will be received in evidence as ladies and gentlemen, on July 15, 2008, Zany Anthony made a recorded call to 911 that was received by the Orange County Sheriff at 20:44, 30 hours. The recorded is a true and accurate representation of the call. The parties have agreed to this fact, and it should be considered as true in your deliberations. You may publish.
Theaters of emergency.
4937 Hope Spring Drive.
4937 Hope Springs.
Drive, Orlando.
Okay, what's happening?
I have someone here that I need to be arrested in my home.
They're there right
I have
now?
a possible missing child. I have a 3-year-old that's been missing for a month.
A 3-year-old?
Yes.
Have you reported that?
I'm trying to do that now, ma'am.
Okay, what did the person do that you need arrested?
My daughter.
For what?
For stealing an auto and stealing money. I already spoke with someone. They said they would patch me through the Orlando Sheriff's Department and have a deputy here. I was in the car. I was going to drive her to the police station, and no one's open. They said they would bring a deputy to my home when I got home to call them.
So she stole your vehicle?
Yes.
When did she do that?
On the 30th. I just got it back from the impound. I'd like to speak to an officer. Can you have someone come out to my house?
Okay. Okay, I gotta ask you these questions so I can put them in the call, okay?
Okay.
The 30th of June?
Yes.
Okay, how old is your daughter?
22.
Okay, what's her name?
My name?
Her name.
Her name, Casey Anthony. Casey.
And your name?
Cynthia Anthony.
Cynthia, can I get a phone number that I can reach you at?
407-808-4731.
And you said you have the vehicle back?
Yes. I have the statement.
Casey's there right now?
Yes, I got it. I finally found her after a month. She's been missing for a month. I found her, but we can't find my granddaughter.
Okay, how tall is Casey?
5 foot.
What a
1.5.
nightmare.
Thin, medium, or heavy build?
Thin.
Color hair?
Brown.
What color shirt is she wearing?
White.
What color pants?
Oh, they're shorts. They're plaid. They're like pink and teal and white and black plaid.
Does she have any weapons on her?
No.
Is Casey not telling you where her daughter is?
Correct.
Okay, we'll have a deputy out to you as soon as one's available, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Now, it makes you wonder why she called the nanny Zany. You know, makes you wonder if she got in real deep with some drug dealers or something. But that wouldn't explain why Kaylee was found so close to Casey's home. All right, this is the final 911 call.
What says the defense, noting previous objections?
Subject to just previous motions and objections, Judge.
It be admitted into evidence over defense objections as states numbered.
There is a stipulation as it relates to the accuracy as well.
Ladies and gentlemen, I will read to you the following stipulation. On July 15, 2008, Cindy Anthony made a recorded call to 911 that was received by the Orange County Sheriff's Office at 21:41:20 hours. The recording is a true and accurate representation of the call. The parties have agreed to this fact, and it should be considered as true in your deliberations. You may publish.
What's your emergency? I called a little bit ago. The deputy sheriff said I found out my granddaughter has been taken. She has been missing for a month. Her mother finally admitted that she's been missing.
Okay, what is
here now?
Okay, what is the address that you're calling from?
4937 Hope Spring Drive.
Sounds so
We're
helpless.
talking about a 3-year-old little girl.
4937 what?
Hope Spring, HOPESPRING Drive, Orlando. My daughter finally admitted that the baby's in the store. I need to find her.
Your daughter admitted that the baby is where?
But the babysitter took her months ago that my daughter's been looking for. I told you my daughter was missing for a month. I just found her today, but I can't find my granddaughter. She just admitted to me that she's been trying to find her herself. There's something wrong. I found my daughter's car today, and it smells like there's been a dead body in the damn car.
Okay, what is the 3-year-old's name?
Oh my God.
Kaylee, Caylee, Anthony.
Haley Anthony?
Yes.
Okay, is she white?
If you guys missed that part, she said that it smelled like there was a dead body was in her car.
Black or Hispanic?
She's white.
How long has she been missing for?
I have not seen her since the 7th of June.
What is her date of birth?
8/9/2000. Oh God, she's 3. She's 2005. George Carey's missing. Casey says Danny took her a month ago. She was missing for a month.
Okay, I understand. Can you calm down for me for just a minute and I need to know what's going on, okay? I'm gonna try and talk. Is your
Absolutely. J Ray says this is so sad, and Casey was clearly nothing but annoyed by this. Absolutely. She was that's it. She was just annoyed. James says her dad was a retired cop, I believe. That's why I don't believe it was him that dumped Kaylee in that wooded area. I feel like he would have come up with a better solution if he was trying to cover it up, hide it, or distance himself from it in any way. As a retired law enforcement officer, he knew better than that. This is something that some idiot 22-year-old would do.
Is your daughter there?
I'm on the phone with them.
Is your daughter there?
Yes.
Can I speak with her? Do you mind if I speak with her? Thank you.
I called them 2 hours ago. They haven't gotten here. Can you see? Finally admitted the Zany took her a month ago. It's just for the pleasure.
Ma'am.
2 hours.
Ma'am.
Fuck.
He's downstairs.
It's just not fair that our only option when the shit hits the fan is to contact law enforcement. I feel like there needs to be a third option or some kind of there just needs to be an alternative to that, because a lot of times this is what happens. People don't realize how alone we really are out there. We're helpless.
They want to talk to you. Answer the question. Hello?
Hello?
Yes.
Hi. Well, can you tell me what's going on a little bit?
I'm sorry?
Can you tell me a little bit what's going on?
My daughter's been missing for the last 31 days.
And you know who has her?
I know who has her. I've tried to contact her. I actually received a phone call today now from a number that is no longer in service. I did get to speak to my daughter for about a minute.
Okay, did you guys call her?
Okay, so why would she say that she talked to her daughter if she's not involved in this crime? Can anybody explain this to me? If she wasn't involved in this or have intimate knowledge, why would she lie and say that the kidnappers called her and that she's actually spoken with her? I feel like she needs to be retried. I think there needs to be another trial.
Report a vehicle stolen?
Yes, my mom did.
Okay, so there's been a vehicle stolen too?
No, this was my vehicle.
What vehicle was stolen?
It's a 98 Pontiac Sunfire.
Okay, I have deputies on the way to you right now for that. So now your 3-year-old, okay, your 3-year-old daughter is missing. Kaylee Anthony.
Yes.
White female.
Anthony. Yes, white female.
3 years old, 8/9/2005 is her date of birth?
Yes.
And you last saw her a month ago?
31 days. From 31 days.
Who has her? Do you have a name?
Her name is Zany Fernandez Gonzalez.
Who is that? Babysitter?
She's been my nanny for about 1.5 years, almost 2 years.
All a lie.
Why are you calling now? Why didn't you call 31 days?
Just a quick note, guys. During the trial, her defense team admits that this is all a lie. This is all made up. There is no nanny. There never was a nanny.
Days ago.
I've been looking for her and have gone through other resources to try to find her, which was stupid.
Okay. Can you give me the name of the nanny
Just pay real close attention to the tone of her voice.
again? Like, spell it out for me.
Zenaida, Zenaida.
Last name? Fernandez.
- Gonzalez. I think the officers are here.
The officers are there.
Yep, it's double jeopardy. We need new information. I just hope that she never has any more kids. You know? Shame on anybody that would have a child with her.
There?
Yes.
Okay, hold on a second. Don't hang up with me yet. I need you. Okay.
Have a break, sir.
A drink? Okay, let's take a 5-minute recess.
Okay, so that's it for the 911 calls. Okay, so shortly after the 911 calls, she is arrested. Manslaughter? They're yelling baby killer at her.
Late this evening, Orange County Sheriff's Office detectives returned to the Anthony residence and placed a defendant under arrest for violation of Florida statutes dealing with economic crimes. The defendant was placed into custody without incident and transported here to the Orange County main office for processing of her paperwork. The defendant is under arrest currently for violation of
Yeah, we
Florida
were talking
statutes
about that
dealing
earlier,
with uttering
Cindy.
a forged instrument,
Very similar.
fraudulent use of personal information, and petty theft. The defendant is currently awaiting transport to the Orange County Jail for booking. The charges came known to the investigators through the process of investigation. As with any case of this magnitude, allegations will surface and be followed up and investigated as appropriate. An arrest warrant was sought and authorized for the indicated charges by a circuit court judge late this evening. As well, there have been many questions regarding the forensic evidence and investigative follow-up that is ongoing in the disappearance of Kaylee. We do have returns that indicate human decomposition was present and located in the defendant's vehicle. As stated earlier,
I mean, it's so obvious, right? The child's been missing for 31 days. The child's dead. The child's been dumped, been killed, then dumped, and there's a smell of decomposing human flesh in the car. I mean, what else did the jury need? I just don't understand what the fuck they were thinking.
here by the state attorney Lawson Lamar, we had higher hopes of finding her alive, and that hope is somewhat diminished.
Here comes Casey Anthony.
Jeez. Wonder what the hell was going through her mind at that moment. She's probably thinking, I can beat this. Okay, we're going to continue on here.
Casey?
Mom.
Hey.
So this is a jailhouse call that was played for the jury. I want you to listen to how callous and cold she sounds. And I'm referring to Casey. Cold-blooded.
Hey, sweetie.
Well, I just saw your nice little cameo on TV.
Which one?
What do you mean, which one?
Which one? I did 4 different ones, and I don't know. I haven't seen them all. I've only seen 1 or 2 so far.
You don't know what my involvement is and stuff?
Casey?
Mom.
What?
No.
I don't know what your involvement is, sweetheart.
Like, Mom, how dare you make it seem as if I killed my own kid? Like, what, bitch? We know that you did this. We know you had something to do with this. Hey, what's up, Beth? How you doing? Yep, we're going to play one of them.
You're not telling me where she's at.
Because I don't fucking know where she's at. Are you kidding me?
Casey, don't
The-
waste your call.
the
No, I'm in
audacity.
already.
Waste my call sitting in, the jail?
Whose
In
fault
where
is-
bunks are?
Whose fault is you're sitting in the jail? Are you blaming me that you're sitting in the jail?
Not
Blame
my
yourself
fault.
for telling lies. You mean it's not your fault? What do you mean it's not your fault, sweetheart? If you'd have told them the truth and not lied about everything, they wouldn't.
Do me a favor, just tell me what Tony's number is. I don't want to talk to you right now. Forget it.
I don't have his number.
We'll get it from Lee because I
Now, Tony is her boyfriend. Now, for whatever reason, she wants to talk with him. So I always suspected that maybe he had a hand in this. Like, she had chloroformed Kaylee so that she could go party with this guy. And then she wakes up in the morning realizing, hey, I left my daughter in the back of this trunk. And she's deceased. They panic. They kind of stall for a day or two. They don't really know what to do. And then when the smell kicks in, they're like, hey, well, we got to do something about this. And I think it was his idea for them to dump the body. But I think she chose the location. And that's why it was just right up the street from her home.
No leads at the house. I saw Mallory's car was out front. It was just on the news. They were just live outside the house.
If you'd have told him the
And listen to how smart she is. She's literally in prison or in jail, and she's watching the news, and she's taking notes about everything that she sees. Who's parked out front, who's there, whose vehicle's there. So then she calls her mom, and she's telling her, I know that they're there. Don't you lie to me. I just saw the live television feed of outside of the house. So don't lie to me. She's extremely smart.
truth and not lied about everything, they wouldn't.
Do me a favor. Just tell me what Tony's number is. I don't want to talk to you right now. Forget it.
I don't have his number.
We'll get it from Lee because I know Lee's at the house. I saw Mallory's car was out front. It was just on the news. They were just live outside the house.
I know they were.
Well, can you get Tony's number for me so I can call him?
She'll get what she wants at all costs.
Hey,
Hey, can you give me Tony's number?
I can do that. I don't know what real good it's going to do you at this point.
Well, I'd like to talk to him anyway.
Okay.
Because I called to talk to my mother, and it's a fucking waste. Oh, by the way, I don't want any of you coming up here when I have my first hearing for bond and everything else. Like, don't even fucking waste your time coming up here.
You know, you're making it real tough for anybody to want to
What a
try
bitch.
to even assist you with giving you somebody's
Just
phone number.
every single
You're not even letting me finish. Like, I really,
Just go ahead.
Go ahead. I'll give you permission.
you're asking me for Tony's phone number so you can call him, and then you immediately want to start cussing towards me and saying, don't even worry about coming up here for all this stuff and trying to cut us out.
I'm not trying to cut anybody out.
I'm not going around and around with you. You know, that's pretty pointless. I'm not going to put everybody else through the same stuff that you've been putting.
And they hadn't found Kaylee yet. She's still missing. No talk about her missing daughter. None of that.
The police and everybody else through for the last 24 hours and the stuff you've been putting mom through for the last 4 or 5 weeks. I'm done with that. So you can tell me what's going on. Christina would love to talk to you because she thinks that you will tell her what's going on. Frankly, we're going to find out. Something, whatever's going on, it's going to be found out. So why not do it now? Save
There's
yourself
nothing to
and
find out. There's absolutely nothing to find out, and that's even what I told the detective.
Well, you know, everything
I have
she's
no
telling
clue
them
where
is
Kaylee is.
lie.
If I knew where Kaylee was, do you think any of this would be happening? No.
Anyway, you only got a couple minutes for this, so I'm not
They don't
gonna
believe her.
completely waste it. Here's Christina. She thinks she can get through.
No, I want Tony's number. I'm not talking to anybody else.
Hello.
Hi, I'm glad everybody's at my house. I'll have to call you later. I'll have to call somebody to get your number. Do me a favor, get my brother back because I need Tony's number.
Okay. Is there anything I can do?
I don't
for
know,
you?
James.
I'm sitting in jail. There's nothing anybody can do right now.
Well, I'm just trying to do.
Oh, I know you are, honey. I absolutely know that you are, and I appreciate everything that you're trying to do, but I'd like to call Tony. He's not at my house, is he?
No,
Okay.
no, it's just me and your parents and Lee.
Okay. Well, can you do me a favor and get my brother back or get the number from him, please?
Does Tony have anything to do with Kaylee?
No. Nothing.
Okay, so why do you want to talk to Tony? You don't want. You probably
She's
don't want
onto
to
it.
tell me, do you?
See, she
You
knows
probably don't
too.
want to tell me, do you?
What do you? I didn't hear what you said.
I said, does Tony have anything to do with Kaylee?
No, Tony had nothing to do with Kaylee.
Oh, so why do you want to talk to him? You probably don't want to tell me.
He's my boyfriend, and I want to actually try to sit and talk to him because I didn't get a chance to talk to him earlier because I got arrested on a fucking whim today because they're blaming me for stuff that I never would do, that I didn't do.
Okay. Well, I'm on your side. You know that,
Oh,
right?
I know that. I just want to talk to Tony, get a little bit of...
Casey, You have to tell me if you know anything about Kaylee.
Sweetheart,
if anything happens to Kaylee Casey, I'll die. You understand? I'll die. If anything happens to that baby.
Oh my God. Calling you guys? A waste. Huge waste.
Okay, listen to her as her heart breaks, and I want you to hear Casey's response. Listen to this again.
Tell me if you know anything about Kaylee.
Sweetheart,
if anything happens to Kaylee Casey, I'll die. You understand? I'll die. If anything happens to that baby.
Oh my God.
Oh
Calling you
my
guys?
God.
A waste. Huge waste. Honey, I love you. You know I would not let anything happen to my daughter. If I knew where she was, this wouldn't be going on.
So isn't kidnapping already something that happened? She's saying she would never let anything happen to her child, but hasn't she been kidnapped?
Well, how come everybody's saying you're lying?
Because nobody's fucking listening to anything that I'm saying. The media completely misconstrued everything that I said. The fucking detectives told them fucking bullshit. They got all of their information from me, yet at the same time, they're twisting stuff. They've already said they're going to pin this on me if they don't find Kaylee. They've already said that.
That's bullshit.
They arrested me because they said that.
Yeah, because they said that the person that you dropped Kaylee with doesn't even exist.
Because, oh, look, they can't find her in the Florida database. She's not just from Florida.
Oh, well, that explains everything.
Listen to anything that I would have said to them, they would have had their lead. They maybe could have tracked her down. They haven't listened to a fucking thing that I've said.
Honestly, Cindy, Cindy says, though I don't know how much more a jury needed to convict her, some people get weird with the death penalty. Sorry, somebody's at my door. It's a lot of pressure for somebody. They don't want to be responsible for taking somebody's life. And it might lean, it might cause them to lean in one direction more than they need to, just to be overly cautious. Like maybe a confession or something. Or just a little bit of doubt that the defense was able to sneak in there with the father. Her making those claims about her father and blaming it on the father, saying that while she was taking a nap, he was supposed to be watching her and that she drowned in the pool. That was the theory that she threw out there. And it was very believable, especially after considering where they found Kaylee's body. But I mean, you can just tell, in my opinion, right, guys? My opinion, she sounds like a psychopath. She sounds like she suffers from psychopathy 100%. Okay, let's go to Casey Anthony, and it's a prison visit by her parents.
No, she's right here.
Oh, sorry, I'm getting weird audio here. Let me close this. Let me close that. You guys might lose me here for a second. I'm going to refresh my screen. Okay, and we're back. Let's see if that fixed it. There's going to be kind of an annoying buzz. So hopefully it doesn't drive you crazy.
She's right here. She's pulling at the phone. Hold on.
All right. Hi, sweetie. Hi, Mom.
So I don't mean to interrupt this, but I want you to notice the contrast between the grieving parents, well, at least the grieving mother. I feel like the father, if he wanted to, he probably could pass a polygraph test, right? Not likely, though. But I want you to see the stark contrast between the accused and her family. They are heartbroken that they cannot find their granddaughter. This one, not a care in the world.
We're not doing well, Case. None of us. Lee's been sick. Dad's blown up at the media. Yeah, I heard. Well, someone just said that Kaylee was dead this morning, that she drowned in the pool. That's the newest story out there. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, see, they don't realize it at this point in time, but the source of that information was Casey.
We need to have something to go on. Mom, I don't have anything. I'm sorry. I've been here a month. I've been here a month today.
She's got the
Do you
Koberger eyes.
understand how I feel? Hold on, sweetheart. Settle down, babe. Nobody's letting me speak. You want me to talk?
Me.
All right, I'll listen to you. 3 seconds to see something. Sweetheart. I'm not in control over any of this because I don't know what the hell's going on.
The only time she shows any emotion is when it's about her. I'm being attacked. She, the first words out of her mouth should have been, "Is there any word on my daughter?" She don't care. She knows where her daughter is.
I don't know what's going on. My entire life has been taken from me. Everything has been taken from me. You don't understand. Everybody wants me to have answers. I don't have any answers because I don't know what's going on. I have no one to talk to except Jose when he comes. It's the only person that I can talk to right now because I can't even say anything to you guys besides telling you that I love you.
Fake
I
crying.
want Kaylee. Things like that. And that's not even getting put on the air, which it should be. It's everything else, everything that I'm not saying. Again, that's all I could do was backtrack. I can't backtrack on anything. A month I've been removed from the situation. You guys are not understanding my side on this, and I'm sorry.
Horrible. I mean, there's no words to describe what I'm watching here. Let's go to J-Ray. They couldn't prove she killed her, how she died, when she died, yet they pushed for first-degree murder and the death penalty was on the table. No jury could rightfully convict her on all that. Yeah, they screwed up. They dropped the ball. That's 100% the reason that she went free. You have to be extremely strategic with all of that. Yep, lackadaisical. She could care less. The only time that she gets emotional is when she's referring to herself. The things that are happening to me. I haven't seen her cry for her daughter one time throughout that entire process. Yep, he did. And I think the reason that Casey turned on him and started saying that he sexually assaulted her was because she felt betrayed, that they didn't believe her, that they weren't just buying her story, and they didn't have unconditional trust in their daughter. But the facts tell us that she's involved, in my opinion. Hey, what's up, Misunderstood? Says, I'm sorry, but Dad looks way too relaxed, in my opinion, though. Maybe because he has a background in law enforcement. Yeah, and that prison call, I think so as well too. But I think he's upset. I think he's disappointed. But then again, this could be them in on it. But he didn't flinch when she said the new story is, she drowned or whatever. He didn't really flinch. He didn't really go like, uh-oh. Like, oh man, that is what happened, She was just a spoiled rich girl that always got away with everything because she thought she was cute and could get points for being cute. In my opinion, she was just a psychopath, and she used what she could to get what she needed. Whatever she wanted, she was going to get. Nothing was off limits. Yeah, I think deep down they knew. I think they were just hoping that she was alive.
Conversations, did your sister tell you uh, a different version of how Kaylee was taken from her?
Yes, she did. She told me that she met Zany, who was her nanny, as well as Zany's sister and her children at J. Blanchard Park, which is here in Orlando. And during that meeting, Zany held Casey down and told her that she was taking Kaylee from her.
Hey, Hiawatha.
And she did that with the help of her sister.
Did your sister tell you why Kaylee was taken from her?
In Zany's opinion, Casey was not being a good mother to Kaylee, or wouldn't be a good mother for Kaylee. And she was taking Kaylee from her to teach her a lesson, and also told her not to go to the police or anything like that.
Did she also give you a description, a detailed description of what Zenaida Gonzalez looked like?
Yes, she did. She was kind of normal height, about 5'8", 5'10"-ish. Good complexion. Long hair. She was approximately 100 pounds, and that she would keep it darker complexion, like tanning or something like that. Her reaction for that was that she...
You guys, I hate to say it, but it is all in the eyes. I'm telling you right now, if you have these bug eyes like that, bugged out eyes, I don't trust you. I apologize for all of you who might have more, more white showing around your eye than the normal person, but I'm seeing a pattern with that shit. Something about crazy people in their eyes. They're just so big, they're like, it's almost like there's some kind of weird pressure behind them.
Like tanning or something like that. Her reaction for that was that she couldn't believe it was happening, and it felt kind of like surreal. She was scared and she didn't know what to do.
After Kaylee was taken from her, did your sister indicate to you that this Zenaida person was controlling her movements or telling her what to do?
She did tell me that, yes.
Any more specific than that? In what way?
Specifically through MySpace at the time, that she had Casey's password and would send her
MySpace.
Like, you can kind of send yourself a message or post something so only you could see it on your account. She would do things like that to kind of instruct her on what to do, where to go.
Do you know what Timer 55 is?
It was a password that Casey had specifically for MySpace. Her first explanation was she did not create the password, but her feeling expressed to me on what it was. Her explanation was that from the date Kaylee was taken from her until Kaylee's birthday on August 9th, that there were 55 calendar days within that period of time. And it was her understanding that, or maybe her hope and belief, that she was going to get her back on that date.
So if I understand your testimony correctly, your sister told you another story about the imaginary Zany the Nanny?
Yes, she told me another story about Zany the Nanny, yes.
And she told you that that Zany the Nanny would contact her through MySpace.
Yes, she did.
And that she would tell her what to do, how to control her, so she didn't call the police.
Correct.
And
of course,
maybe like go places.
Correct.
So maybe she could see Kaylee.
Sure, yes.
None of these MySpace, imaginary MySpace posts to find this imaginary Zany ever panned out for her, did it?
Casey was never successful in finding Kaylee in any of those experiences.
And Zany the Nanny never materialized.
To this day, no.
Mm-hmm. All right, I got one more on Zany the Nanny.
Casey Anthony took something she will never get back. Casey told police a nanny named Zenaida Gonzalez stole her daughter Kaylee. Tonight, the real Zenaida Gonzalez says Casey's lies ruined her reputation. All new tonight at 11, our Chris Martinez joins us with what Gonzalez wants from Casey. Chris?
Well, Jamison Gonzalez says at the very least, she wants to hear Casey herself say she's sorry. This mother of 6 is suing for defamation, insisting Casey destroyed her good name.
You're proceeding with the lawsuit because you're seeking money, correct? We're looking for closure.
Zenaida Gonzalez says very few people can really understand what she's been through,
Because she's never been accused of kidnapping.
and claims clearing her name is the only reason she's suing the woman she says ruined her life.
This guy was screaming obscenities at me in the street.
In a 12-hour videotaped deposition, Gonzalez says that kind of harassment has been constant ever since Casey Anthony claimed a nanny with her same name kidnapped her daughter Kaylee, a claim Casey's attorneys later admitted was entirely made up.
The jury found the defendant not guilty.
But even after Anthony's first-degree murder trial ended, Gonzalez says her public torment remained, saying she was forced to quit her job and even had her own family asking if she was involved in Kaylee's death.
It hurts because you have to look at your daughter's face and explain to them why you're getting accused of kidnapping a child.
Gonzalez did admit her full name is not Zenaida Fernandez Gonzalez, which was the name Casey actually used. But the similarity is close enough, she says, to leave her reputation scarred for good.
That's going to follow me for the rest of my life.
Gonzalez made those statements under oath a few days ago, and they were all filed in court today. Casey Anthony was deposed last month, but she invoked her Fifth Amendment rights, refusing to answer nearly every question. This case is now scheduled to go to trial in April.
Sorry about that, guys. Exactly.
Florida are still searching a wooded area near Orlando. The remains of a small child found on Thursday are being analyzed to see if it is the body of missing 3-year-old Kaylee Anthony. Joining us is criminal profiler Pat Brown and Kathy Reichs, a forensic anthropologist who is a member of Casey Anthony's defense team. Good morning to you both.
Good morning. Good morning.
Ms. Reichs, let me start with you. Assuming this
You guys see how young Pat Brown looks?
is the little girl in question,
Shout out
what
to Pat
information
Brown.
could they find that might help exonerate your client?
Well, right now, we just want to be able to see everything that's available to the prosecution. Our team has a forensic entomologist who's going to be looking at the bugs and trace evidence. We have a forensic pathologist, Dr. Werner Spitz, and myself, I'm a forensic anthropologist. I'll be looking at the remains. We don't know at this point exactly what condition those remains are in. We don't know if there's a relatively well-preserved body, that's doubtful, or if it's a fully skeletonized set of remains.
Mm-hmm.
So we've just put together a team, and we would like to, and we're getting very little access. We're getting no access at this point, either to the remains or to the scene itself. And we would just like to be there as independent observers to be seeing with our eyes.
Would that be normal procedure, or would the local prosecutors want to at least get a positive ID first?
Well, they want to get a positive ID, of course, which they're going to be doing through DNA. But I've only served as a defense expert twice in my entire career, but on both of those occasions, we didn't meet this kind of resistance. We were allowed access. Of course, they're not going to be our best friends,
Okay.
but this is a bit more resistance
All
than
right.
I'm used to seeing.
All right, let's talk about this a little bit here in the studio, Pat. These remains are found. They're in
Right.
garbage bag, duct tape.
Right.
Place has been underwater for some time
And
already.
that's the big problem.
Yeah,
That
well-
really is. Well, anytime you have water at a scene, it just really destroys evidence. It first of all helps the decomposition proceed quickly, and then everything gets wiped away.
Yeah, I guess Kaylee was found in like a flood zone, floodplain area, place that gets flooded out quite a bit.
Yeah,
Literally washed away.
Really
almost.
washed away, and it's underwater, so it's a disaster. And so what people are thinking, wow, but there's trash bags and there's duct tape,
Right.
so this is going to be great. But we're saying, okay, you got a piece of duct tape. It's been underneath that water for months and months.
Right.
And yes, duct tape is great because
Because hasn't it been used in a prosecution or at least in a defense that whatever
Right.
what do they call it, styrations
Well-
or the method of making the bag
Correct.
was traceable to some other lot that was found in a house?
Now that depends. Now, if you take some of the trash bags, when you have to rip
This guy he's a prick.
them off, and the cheaper ones essentially, then they will have a striation pattern that goes all the way through the whole
Right.
roll. But here's the problem: it's been months. People use trash bags pretty regularly, so if you ripped it off and used it in the crime, chances are 6 months later you're not going to have that exact box. And the
right.
next box, all you can say is, oh, they bought the same brand. But I mean, everybody buys the same brand. Everybody in the neighborhood.
Right.
The other problem is some of these actually they're not actually connected. They're separate bags.
Oh, sure.
The fancier ones. So that's going to be a problem. Now, here's one of the reasons I brought this one along. This is the lawn and leaf bag.
Right.
The hope is that this bag, it would be one of the bigger ones, because you might keep this in your garage, not use it on a daily basis. So
Right.
you can hope that this might be
And be traceable.
still there.
Right.
Right. And the duct tape, this is great stuff. It gets fingerprints. You get your hair stuck on it, fibers, and you're in a rush, so you might leave things.
Right.
That's how they caught Rex Heuermann. Remember, his wife's hair was stuck on the duct tape.
Sometimes tear it with your teeth because you simply can't get it torn.
Sure.
And then you can have even saliva. But how about that water? It's probably going to destroy everything on there.
All right, let's move through quickly due to time.
Police in Orlando say there's a strong possibility that 3-year-old Kaylee Anthony is dead. She was
Kind of going
last
through the
seen in
timeline
June.
right now.
In a statement, investigators said forensic tests confirmed that there had been a decomposing body in the trunk of her mother, Casey Anthony's car. During a July court appearance, detectives disclosed that they found some of Kaylee's hair, a strong odor, and a suspicious stain in the trunk. Anthony has been listed as a person of interest in the disappearance, but so far only faces charges of child neglect and criminal obstruction. She had been released from jail on bail of $500,000. Protesters gathered outside the Anthony house Friday when she was rearrested on unrelated charges of check fraud and theft. Prosecutors offered Anthony limited immunity in exchange for cooperation. That deal expired Tuesday without any communication from Anthony's lawyer. Detectives say most of what Casey Anthony has told them about Kaylee is a lie. Matt Friedman, The Associated Press.
Definitely. Right, Mustang? We'll put this back up here just for those who are a little bit stubborn. It's just my opinion. Okay, let's see here. I'm going to skip some of this because we are running out of time. My wife wants me to go with her grocery shopping. So we're gonna head out in just a little while. So let's go to this video here. This is Casey Anthony's parents taking a lie detector test after being accused by Casey. We'll move straight from that over to Casey Anthony's recent TikTok video, her recent social media post. We'll hear from Gypsy Rose. We'll take a look at the crime scene or the dump site. And then we'll close it out.
Brand new A&E special called Casey Anthony's Parents, the Lie Detector Test.
I want to have a polygraph because it's going to prove one thing. I never did anything to harm my daughter or my granddaughter.
George Anthony puts his credibility and reputation to the test. And for a few moments, it looks bleak.
Did you knowingly conceal Kaylee's whereabouts?
No.
Okay, so you're struggling with that one a little bit. Tell me why.
It's
Probably misses
because
her.
I was so close to our house.
Yeah.
That she was found.
While the 72-year-old appears tripped up by questions surrounding any involvement in the concealment of Kaylee Anthony's body and a 6-month window where the child's whereabouts were unknown.
Did I conceal her whereabouts? I did not know where she was at.
Okay, so why are you struggling with that? I'm happy to modify the question if I have to, but I need to know where you're struggling.
I did not know where Kaylee was at.
The outcome of the lie detector test, ultimately revealing he was telling the truth.
Your results are you passed this test, George. In my professional opinion, you were truthful.
No doubt.
After one of the most polarizing cases in modern history,
We, the jury, find the defendant not guilty.
Casey Anthony was acquitted by a jury of her
Fucking
daughter's
crazy.
2008 death, though she was found guilty of lying to police. Years later, in a documentary for Peacock, which is owned by NBC News' parent company, she broke her silence, blaming it all on her dad.
Well, I was doing what I was told by my father.
Casey.
See, if she's telling, if that's just a bold-faced lie, think about how cold-blooded she really is. With those Steve Buscemi eyes, she's just telling these lies. And he just took a lie detector test.
Her dad.
Well, I was doing what I was told by my father.
Casey says.
And do you think that former law enforcement, I mean, this guy retired as a police officer. You think he's going to direct her to do the things that she did, which were so blatantly stupid? He's not going to do that. If he was involved, I think that she would have definitely gotten away with it. I don't think she would have ever even been considered a suspect.
Her father abused her, and she suspects Kaylee too, accusing him of murdering the child to cover it up. George Anthony has never been charged with a crime and has vehemently denied his daughter's accusations. But he did address those accusations on the lie detector.
Did you ever have sexual contact with Casey?
No.
Concluding a weight would be lifted with this interview.
I've gotten blamed for something I didn't do, and it tears me up inside.
Now, it is unclear where and when this polygraph took place, but the special did disclose it was a neutral location to try to minimize distractions or outside influence. We reached out to Casey Anthony.
In this world that matters to me still is my daughter. But I'm still defending the fact that I didn't hurt her.
14 years after her daughter disappeared, Casey Anthony.
She just doesn't have a truth-telling style. You know what I mean? You can just tell that it's just so forced.
He says she still misses her. In the new docuseries on Peacock titled Casey Anthony, Where the Truth Lies, Anthony shares for the first time on camera her own theory about what happened to her daughter, Kaylee. She says she took a nap with her daughter on that last day and woke up to her father holding Kaylee in his arms.
She's soaking wet. I can see him standing there with her in his arms and hand her to me and telling me that it's my fault.
Anthony says her father took Kaylee after that, and she doesn't know what happened next. 5 months after Kaylee was reported missing, her skeletal remains were found in a wooded area about a
Imagine having something to do with your daughter's murder. Dumping her in the woods like trash. And then in order to better your situation, you blame it on your father? I mean, I don't know if I've seen anything more fucked up in my life than this situation here.
a half mile from the family's home. She had duct tape over her mouth and was inside a laundry bag and garbage bags. Anthony was charged with first-degree murder, lying to investigators, and other charges. At her trial in 2011, Anthony's defense team claimed the little girl drowned in the family's pool, and the accidental drowning spiraled out of control, with Anthony and her dad covering up Kaylee's death.
She was cold.
But in the new docuseries, Anthony puts the blame squarely on her father, suggesting Kaylee died on his.
And I think that she did this because she felt betrayed, that they testified against her, that they wouldn't just believe all of her lies and show her unconditional support. She feels betrayed. Remember, all she's experiencing is everything that's about her. Anything to where she's feeling like the world is against her, that's all that matters. And she was going to get retribution for that. She was going to make them her next victims.
Watch.
And I know people are going to question, well, why didn't I make a phone call? Why didn't I call 911? I have to live with that, knowing that I failed to protect my child.
For 31 days, Anthony kept quiet.
During the 31 days, I genuinely believed that Kaylee was still alive. My father kept telling me she was okay.
So how is it that she's holding Kaylee's dead body and her father saying this is your fault, but yet she thinks that she's still alive? Like, I mean, she's getting tangled up in the web here.
When her mother finally called 911 to report Kaylee missing, Anthony said the girl's nanny had taken her. Turns out that nanny never existed, which Anthony admits in the documentary. In the docuseries, Anthony says she was lying to protect her father, as she'd been taught to do, following what she claimed were years of sexual abuse by him, beginning at age 8.
My father was holding me down and raping me. That happens again and again and again. It was like I was brainwashed.
I don't believe her.
And it wasn't until much later
You know, as horrible as an accusation as that is, I don't believe what she's saying.
that I started to really realize why.
George.
At her trial, her father.
Diane Smith. That's a good question. Who's a worse actress, Casey Anthony or Susan Smith? I think it's a tie. I don't know. I think Casey's a better actress than Susan Smith. That part where she's like, and he put a gun to my side and he told me to drive, so I drove, you know? Yeah. They're both horrible women, but when it comes to acting, I'm going to say Casey's just a little bit better than Susan.
George Anthony, denied abusing his daughter or having anything to do with Kaylee's death. Peacock says he turned down an offer to appear on their program. CNN has reached out to him for comment. After more than 100 witnesses at her trial, Casey Anthony was found not guilty of murder, but she was convicted of providing false information to police.
That's a
she
good
was
question.
freed shortly afterward due to the time she'd spent in jail awaiting trial.
Still everything to me.
Anthony says she'll always wonder what really happened to Kaylee.
I don't know if it would be better to know or just keep not knowing. Because I don't know what the truth is. All I know is that that something happened.
It's disgusting. She's a horrible person. In my opinion. I'm entitled to my opinion. Okay, so let's go into the most recent. This is Casey Anthony reintroducing herself into the limelight. I'm back. I think she posted this about a week ago on her TikTok.
I sweat to death. Okay.
You know, basic copyright rules apply. So you can't do anything about it, Casey. So fuck off.
I sweat to death. Okay. Today is Saturday, March 1st, 2025. This is my first of probably many recordings on a series that I'm starting. I am a legal advocate. I am a researcher. I've
A legal advocate and a researcher. The audacity.
been in the legal field since 2011. And in this capacity, I
Legal field.
feel that it's necessary, if I'm going to continue to operate appropriately as a legal advocate, that I start to advocate for myself and also advocate for my daughter. For those of you who don't know,
See, she has to remind herself to keep bringing up her daughter's name. Look, I want you to see. I'm going to play this part back because this is what stood out to me. She has to remind herself, like, hey, as a psycho, you need to remember to keep bringing up your daughter because that's what people are expecting.
and in this capacity, I feel that it's necessary, if I'm going to continue to operate appropriately as a legal advocate, that I start to advocate for myself and also advocate for my daughter. For those of you who don't know, my name is Casey Anthony. My daughter is Kaylee Anthony. My parents are George and Cindy Anthony. This is not about them. This is not in response to anything that they have said or done.
It's not about them. Do you notice how she included Kaylee in there? It's not about them.
That's not to say that I'm not going to respond at some point to some of the things that they have said and done. The whole point of this is for me to begin to
Hey,
reintroduce
She-Warrior.
myself. I'm doing this both personally for me, but in a professional capacity. Moving forward, the majority of what you will see will be me speaking in a professional capacity.
Cyber says that thank goodness that she didn't go on to have more children. Absolutely. Because then I think she would be in prison now. I think so. I don't think she can get away from that parasitic lifestyle. And if there was a man stupid enough to have a child with her, unfortunately, I don't think it would have ended very well.
My goal is to continue to help give a voice to people, to give people tools and resources that they can utilize so they actually know where they can turn to. So with that, please join me on Substack. If you
No.
have questions, I
don't think I will.
set up an email address where we can correspond directly. Up until this point, that has never happened. And it's only going to be on a limited basis regarding legal issues, legal matters. One of the main reasons that I'm doing this, there are people close to me who have
This
been
account?
targeted and attacked recently. There are also people close to me who have had some recent things occur. And when necessary, people needed to step up, myself included. So
You never
as a
stepped
proponent
up.
for the LGBTQ
You still haven't stepped up. You've gotten away with murder. You've gotten a psychopath's greatest gift, which is that duper's delight. Oh, how they love to dupe us all. That cat and mouse, that petty little, their petty little torments.
community, for our legal community, women's rights. I feel that it's important that I use this platform that was thrust upon me and now look at as a blessing.
Remember, psychopaths have that little bit of charm too. You know what I mean? They use it. Superficial charm is what they call it.
As opposed to the curse that it has been since 2008. With that, these aren't going to be perfect. They're not going to be edited. Most of the time, they're not going to be short. But I am proverbially standing in the light, embracing this piece, still going to keep my privacy intact. So you will get very comfortable with my car. And
Fuck your car.
I will explain in great detail why it's so important for people to protect their privacy. It's not just important to public figures, it's even more important to private individuals. And with the current climate in our country, especially, it's that much more important,
I agree,
which
Mustang.
is why I am utilizing the Substack platform. Yes, I am.
Somebody needs to trick her. Somebody needs to befriend her, get in real close with her, convince her that you are also a killer, and then record her confessing to the crime so they can lock this fucking woman up.
Advertising this and publishing this on TikTok, possibly also through other meta platforms, but my intention is to separate from that and showcase even more why Substack is such an important resource for people to utilize moving forward. Anyway, I appreciate your time, and we'll see how this goes.
That's all I got to say about that. Okay, so she followed this up with a lengthy post here. And we'll take a look at that. For everyone speaking good, bad, or otherwise, heed your words. Oh, what are you going to do, bitch? And make sure you are saying something of substance. Here's the law in Florida about threats, libel, and slander, etc. You don't have to be a Florida resident to be charged. Okay, well, how about this? Huh? What do you think about this? Why don't you go show that to your attorney? Why don't you start there? See how easy that is? You don't have to be a Florida resident to be charged. Jurisdiction is where the crime was committed. Usually, if it's over the internet and you're saying something hateful, slanderous, liable, threatening, bullying, etc., all you need to say is, in my opinion. The recipient party can request the jurisdiction be in the state where they live, not the state where you committed the act. The internet is not a protected place. Oh, yeah, it is. My next thread, I will be posting the statutes for every one of our 50 states and our territories. Even for those of you saying these things about me, I am still going to continue to do what I said I was going to do, which is advise you on your rights and the law. It is public record, and if necessary, I will remind you that this is not legal advice, purely public information. You need to educate yourself before you implicate yourself. I would say stop the bullshit, but I think that's asking a little too much. We all have the same freedom of speech, but the First Amendment does not protect you against these things most of the time. So unsolicited advice, proceed with caution. You don't scare anybody, and you're not getting away from being treated the way that you deserve to be treated. There's nothing you could do about that.
Casey Anthony has a new Substack where she's charging people to give them legal advice. Even though she's not a lawyer, do you think that's a good thing? What do you think about that?
Are you
Not at all.
working with
She
Kim
said, hell no.
Kardashian on prison reform?
So you guys know who Gypsy Rose Blanchard is, right? She's the one where her and her boyfriend killed her mother. And her mother was basically torturing her entire life. Right? Allegedly.
The show, but it was great to meet her.
So are you still a go to work with her?
It was wonderful to talk to her.
Apparently she was working with Kim Kardashian or something. All right, bear with me a moment. I'm going to pull something up. Yeah, it does make you a little nauseous. Okay, so you can see this looks like a retention area. And at the time, Casey was living here. And I'm sure as a teenager, she would sneak out through this back area here. Or just even, just doing normal kid stuff. She was probably back here playing. So if you follow this back alley to the retention ditch and just keep kind of following along this path, it brings you right to where they found Kaylee's body. See, they even have a memorial right here. Kaylee Anthony Memorial. Here's a quick video of the actual...
Kaylee was found. Now, I want to show you this. Come on over here. You take a walk about 15 to 20 feet off the road, right in this densely wooded area. Look at this. There's trash. There's dirt all over the place. And right around this area was where her body was found by Roy Kronk, a meter reader. And when you think about this, it's almost as if somebody's walking by that road during daylight, they can almost see in this area and see that she was right here. Now, as you look at this area, and this is part of the reason why so many things in this case are contested, there's so much garbage in the area and dirt and trash. This area at one point was flooded, and so it's gone through a lot of weathering over time. But no matter how you look,
I mean, so the fact that they're the cadaver dogs, not only cadaver dogs, the mother said when she picked up the car, she said it smelled like there was a dead body in her car. And that was verified by through scientific methods. So the fact that she lied about her kid being missing, she made up a story about her being kidnapped. She was searching chloroform or something like that on the internet prior to this. And then they find Kaylee's body. Look how close the child is. She literally dumped her in a spot that I guarantee she's familiar with this area. I mean, I just don't understand what she's doing walking around on the street, walking these streets today. It is it's shocking and appalling, really. That beautiful baby just dumped like trash. I mean, it's not fair. It's just not fair. All right, guys, this is going to be our 5-minute warning. If you want to contribute to the conversation, speak now or forever hold your peace. I mean, it all points to her guilt. They just gave her the wrong charges because there's no way that they could prove that it was premeditated, right? Like it's as if the jury, if you would ask the jury, do you think she had something to do with this murder? I think they're going to say absolutely. But there's just no way to tell whether or not it was deliberate. Diane says, do you think little Kaylee was in the car for days before she was dumped? I'm thinking maybe a day or two. I think it was easier for her killer to just leave her there until it became a problem. And then it's an easy solution, right? Because when you're a psychopath, that's what they do. People are just trash. Even their own family, their own children, their mothers, their fathers. It's just something that's there to be used to get what they want. Absolutely, J. Ray. And I think that she convinces herself of that. She's been telling herself that for so long, and it's just something that's repetitive at this point. I think she truly believes it. I think she's allowed herself to kind of fall into this character to where she actually believes that she's innocent. I think it's part of the psychopathy. Absolutely terrifying. It's a photograph from right around the time they found her. Yep, absolutely, J. Ray. 100% wrong charges. Yep, they dropped the ball big time. This is the actual shirt that she was wearing when they found her body. Big trouble. I don't know. Maybe part of her was jealous. You know, she's not the baby anymore. I don't get any of the attention. And if she doesn't have any feelings for her own daughter, that's all she's going to notice. It's how she's being treated. Beth says, in one of the jail visits with her parents, when they were asking her if she had any idea where Kaylee was, she said that she could feel she was close. Yep. All right, guys, that's going to do it for today's live stream. We may or may not have a little surprise a little bit later tonight, but doubtful. Don't count on it. But there is a small chance. So you guys enjoy the rest of your night. Thanks for hanging out during the live stream. Thanks for participating in the chat. Special thanks to Dan for the super chat. Thank you for supporting my channel. Remember, guys, if you want to support me and keep this channel alive, you can always donate to the Cash App, the Zelle, the Venmo. You can go to sleuthintuition.com and purchase some gear. There is free shipping. And if you need to get a hold of me, you can always reach me at sleuthintuition@gmail.com. And if you're part of that replay crew, you know exactly what to do. Drop a comment. We'll get back to you. On that note, guys, I'll catch you on the flip side. Peace out.